and we're going to look at some alternate ways that we can complete the scissor sweep when our partner counters or tries to defend. So let's first of all just look at like the bulk standard basic scissor sweep. So from our closed guard, the two grips that we're going to want is we're going to open up the collar, we're going to put our dominant hand in for a grip on the collar. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to go cross grip as deep as you can so that we can get this posture controlled. The grip on the arm, like you'll see different grips. Like if you go onto YouTube, you see different grips that people want to get. Some of them like to grab hold of the elbow. I don't particularly like the elbow grip because when we go to do the sweep, my partner still has some mobility to put his hand down to the side. If I grab hold of the wrist or the sleeve on the wrist here, he can still use his elbow to post out, but that's why we're going to make sure we keep good pressure by pulling on the arm and straightening the arm. So we're going to open up the collar, grip in. You can go for pistol grip or pocket grip. I prefer the pocket grip, either way is fine. Once we've got the two grips that we want, we're going to open up the legs, move the hips out, and I'm going to bring my far side leg across. Now the position of the leg is going to be important for this. We don't want to have the leg too low. So we don't want to have it down by the belly so he's immediately able to collapse his weight onto my legs and start looking for his pass. I want the leg to go diagonally across my partner's body. So foot is going to stay down on the hip and my knee is going to come up towards the shoulder or armpit. I'm going to bring my knee to the inside of my arm. So I kind of get this frame again. So if he tries to collapse the leg down, then I have some like frame of my arm and my knee. So the first one we're going to do is going to be the basic scissor. When I'm ready, I'm going to drop my leg down to the floor, but key to this is opening my body and coming up to my elbow. So not just staying down here and using my legs to work, I want to get a little bit of rotation on his body by pulling the elbow underneath, pulling on his sleeve so it really straightens out his arm, and then we're going to kick and scissor through. Now it's not going to make too much difference if we're sweeping a beginner white belt, we can just come up as we want. But as we start to get a little bit higher level, if I just come up lazy, here he's going to insert the knee and he's going to come into his single leg X. So all I want to do is as I sweep, I'm going to dig my heel into my partner's far hip, pull on the collar, and I'm going to slide my hips in tight to my partner first. Once my hips are in nice and tight, I'm going to make the rotation up into the mount. Up to you if you want to add extra things in here. If you want to pull the arm across, look for arm bar. If you want to come across and look for cross collar. Entirely up to you if you want to add some extra submissions onto the end. Grip, grip, hip out, onto the armpit, drop the leg down, scissor through, curl the heel in, hips are nice and tight, up into the mount. If you want to add a nice tight cross collar, or arm bar, you can. All right, so let's start off basic scissor sweep. 1, 2, 3, let's do it. All right, so the second version that we're going to do with that, we're going to do the same grips, grip, sleeve grip, hips out, shin across. When I try to do this first version, try to make him sweep, maybe his base is just too good, he widens his knee out so I can't get the scissor to work. Second option is we're going to take our foot back and we're going to place it onto the knee. We're not going to change the position of our knee, not going to change the position of our grip, just this foot is going to go from where it was for the original scissor to the inside of the knee. I'm going to keep pulling on this arm, kicking with my top leg, and I'm just going to kick his leg away this time. As he falls down, the same entry, I'm going to curl my heel, pull my hips nice and tight to stop him from being able to go for any type of guard recovery, and then up into the top position. So again, we open, deepen the collar, move out, go for the first sweep, can't quite get it, so your foot's going to come to the inside. Really important, I see some of you on that first one, when you're trying to go for the scissor, you're kind of like centering up your hips. We need to stay on our side. Stay on your hip, kick the leg away, he drops down, hips come in tight, pull ourselves up, however we want to finish. So second version, instead of going for the complete scissor of the legs, let's hit the knee push. 1, 2, 3, let's do it. So we're going to go for the same grips. I pull out, I'm going to go into my position, but this time my partner decides he's going to stand up. So go ahead and stand up, that's it. So he stands up, but I've still got my legs in the same position. Now, of course, I can make the option to go, right, I'm gonna change this up and I'm gonna start playing like a different open guard. But I still do have the opportunity to still make this sweep work. So stay in the same position, knee stays in place, hands still on the collar, hands still on the sleeve here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place my foot just to the inside of my partner's knee and I'm gonna stretch him out as far as I can. Now what we're not gonna do is we're not gonna kick him away from us because that's gonna bring his legs and his arms closer together. What I actually wanna do is I actually wanna push his leg away and pull his arm towards me so that it separates his body so he ends up with no base on that side. Then I do the same thing, pull myself up to that top position. So he realizes if he stays down on his knees, he's vulnerable to being hit by the scissor sweep. So he stands himself up. Place your foot to the inside of the leg. We don't want to go below the knee, just above the knee is perfect, and we're going to start to kick away. We're not going to punch away with the arms, because again, it's going to bring his arms and his legs closer together. What I actually want to do is pull on the arm, pull my knee towards my chest, and then straighten the leg so it takes the base away. Curl my heel, drag myself up, however I want to finish. So one more time. 1, 2, into the scissor sweep position. He stands up, I place my foot, I'm going to kick, 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 and then I'm going to pull. Drop my partner down. Pull myself up, complete the sweep. All right, so this time I want the person on top to stand up. Remember, our legs and our arms are coming towards us, but we're kicking his leg away from him, so it separates the body. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so for the last part that we're going to do with this, so one of the most common things that you're going to get for the scissor, just the bulk standard scissor, is as I move out here, I go to do the sweep and my partner steps over the top of my leg. Now, I could kind of just try to reposition myself and put myself into some sort of open guard, but I also do have the opportunity to start attacking off when he brings his foot in the air. Hold on 1 second. So, I move the hips, bring in. Key to this though, is this like pinch of my knee, having it in the right place. If the leg is too low, I'm not going to be able to make this happen. So I want my knee to be just in behind my wrist, and my wrist is punched into my partner's neck. So as I go to do the sweep, my partner steps over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this and I'm going to flare and punch my partner off to the side. As I punch my partner off to the side, because he stepped over my leg, it's meant my leg is in the back here. So I'm going to either scoop up the leg, lift it onto my shoulder, go to single leg X or X guard, or I can leave it down by the side here and just go into the single leg X, maybe start working some of my leg lock entries. So all we're doing with this leg here is, as he steps over the top, I'm going to use the punch on the collar and the push and the flare of my knee to pull my partner off balance in the opposite direction. He's not going to fall over, or he shouldn't fall over, he's got his arm to base on. But it is going to create the space for me to get underneath this leg. So I'm going to either scoop underneath the leg, or just over the leg, center my hips, bring my foot initially over the top of the hip so I get to this sort of half leg lock position. Then I can either circle through, go into the X guard, or if I want to continue to work the leg lock position, drop my partner down, start working my straight ankle locks. So we grip, shins come across. As I go for the scissor sweep, he steps over the leg. Just put it back down again for a second. So all the time, like you'll go for that initial like sweep over, and your partner's just going to step over the top. When he steps over the top, we're going to flare the leg off to the side, and you see how my legs ended up on the back because he stepped over it initially. If I want to go X guard, I'm going to scoop underneath. Or if I want to start looking for leg locks, I just go over the top, bring my foot to the hip, circle it underneath, lift the hips, drop them to the side. I've got my ankle lock entries that I can start here. One last time. Grip, grip. If your knee's too low, when you flare the knee, nothing's going to happen. It wants to be right there on your wrist. I go for the sweep, he steps over. So I flare, bring my leg over, create space, leg guard, ankle lock, whatever you prefer. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3.